Good evening, everyone. Time for our Operation in the Word 1-Year Bible Update for March 13th. I hope you've been keeping up with the reading. It's been very entertaining, and I know there's a movie out now about the shack. It's some kind of fiction, Christian fiction. I'm not going to get involved in that controversy, but I will tell you, if you're reading this kind of fiction instead of reading God's Word, man, how disappointing. God's Word is amazing. The stories are there. They come alive as you read them. And today we read about Moses and leading the children of Israel, and the Israelites were grumbling and complaining as they normally did. That seems to be a theme in the book of Numbers. And Moses was supposed to speak to the rock, and the rock was going to provide water for the Israelites. And instead of that, Moses lost his temper and struck the rock with his stick. He hit it twice. And as a result, God said, look, you're not going to be able to go into the land of Canaan now. So we wonder why Moses didn't ever go to Canaan. That's it. He lost his temper. He sinned against God. A sin of unbelief. Ultimately, that's what all sin is, when we don't believe God, when we don't believe what he says. And we look in the book of Luke today. We started Luke, and we read about Zechariah and how the angel Gabriel announced to Zechariah that he would have a son. And Zechariah didn't believe him because Zechariah and his wife, they were older, and much like Abraham and Sarah in the Old Testament, just didn't believe God. And so Gabriel silenced Zechariah and said, Zechariah, you will not speak until your son is born. So Zechariah went, I guess, 9 months until he spoke again. But that was a sin of unbelief. I don't believe you, God. And so what areas in our lives are we not believing God about? In my own life. And I think all of our problems are going to be solved the more we believe God, the more we rely on Him. And just, we need to get out of the way of God and say, God, I believe you. There's nothing I can do. There's no good in me. But I believe you. I believe your promises. So when we get tired, when we get depressed, we can read books like Psalms that talks about God rescuing us, setting our feet on a rock, on a high place. God is a strong tower. There are so many promises in the Bible. We just got to believe God. That's it. Very simple, not complex. Very simple. We just have to believe it. And Jesus said it, I believe it, and that settles it. Actually, it settles it whether I believe it or not. Jesus said it, and that settles it. So with that, let's have a good night, and we will see you tomorrow, March 14th.